Jeep Gladiator steering box replacement. Are you affected by the recall? Am I? Let's take a look. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you this morning? Pretty good here. So is my Jeep Gladiator in need of a steering box replacement? Am I affected by this recall or TSB, whatever you want to call it? And it's funny, the terminology. You know, a technical service bulletin is kind of like, yeah, there's a problem. You may not be affected by it. You might be affected by it. You can bring it in if you want. Where a recall is, get it in here now, got to be fixed. There's something really wrong. I don't know what the difference is. If I have a TSB and I'm driving around and something fails, I think it probably should have been a recall. But anyway, there is this announcement, bulletin out there about the steering box on the Jeep Gladiator. I had put a video out about that before. Check that out if you're interested. But in a nutshell, what it was, or is, because it's still ongoing, is real loosey-goosey, that's the technical term, steering in the Jeep Gladiator all over the road. You can't maintain a straight line without constantly correcting the steering, in a nutshell. So there is a replacement gearbox out there. It is a steel gearbox versus or steering box, I should say, versus the aluminum version that Fiat Chrysler has been putting in the Gladiator, and I'm sure some JLs as well, maybe some JKs, and maybe other models too. But it was announced a few months ago, and I gotta say, I don't really notice any big issue with mine. I mean, there's a little bit of play in the steering, but frankly, there is some play built into consumer vehicles anyway. They're not like the dead-on, spot-on steering that a race car has, right? And they do that intentionally because I guess we consumer drivers need a little bit of play to keep our vehicles on the road. So you can expect to have a little movement in the steering wheel. But you have a problem if you're driving down the road and you're constantly having to correct because the steering just wants to take you all over the place. So I don't really notice an issue with that in mine. We took the Jeep on a long trip, drove on all kinds of different roads and stuff. So I think if I have the problem, I certainly would have become aware of it, at least from the way that it acts, from what I've read in the forums and on the internet and stuff. But I'm curious, when we get home, we're out cruising around right now, obviously, but when we get home, I'm gonna pull up the NHTSA, I think it's called, the site that shows you if there's any technical bulletins or recalls or whatever. We're gonna plug in my VIN number, and I wanna see if indeed my Jeep Gladiator is affected by this steering box replacement. I'm curious. And if it is, then the question is going to be, do I have it done? When you don't have a problem, do you need to fix it? But I think the issue here is, if you don't fix it, what happens down the road? Is it going to develop? Are you going to have the problem? So I think it's probably better to go ahead and take care of it while it's free and under warranty, right? Or covered by this bulletin. Now, are there any negatives to doing it? I've read a couple reports or seen a few people and had some comments on the channel, actually, of people having it done and then having issues afterwards. That the vehicle pulled one way or the other, right? That to me sounds like more of an alignment issue. I don't know, maybe when they replaced it, they didn't do an alignment, or an alignment is called for. I'm not quite sure. But that doesn't seem like a steering issue, although it could be. And I guess if you have that, then you go back into the dealer and get it corrected. It is under warranty, right? But why create problems if you don't need to? That's the conundrum here. Now, most people, I would say a vast majority, have stated that it really did help. They had the problem before. Their Jeeps were all over the road. When they had this done, it's like driving on a rail, right? Nice, tight steering, no issues. So I believe if you are having the problem, it is well worth it to go ahead and have it done. So let's go ahead, let's get home, and then we'll get on the laptop, pull up my VIN number, and see if my Jeep is affected by this. I'm curious. Okay, we're back home now. Real quick, before we go in and check that VIN number, let me show you where the steering box is. I actually had to ask somebody. Myself, I didn't know. And then I looked it up on the web so I could see what it looks like. But let me pop the top real quick, or the hood. I guess we're not gonna pop the top. And I'll show you. It's very easy to see. And I'm curious if I can get this off here with one hand. If I have the aluminum version or the steel version. Let's take a look. And it's right here in the front. Actually, right down there. Right there. You see that? Right underneath the resonator here. Right there. And I do indeed have the aluminum version. You can see it's an aluminum casting. So, I don't know if I'm affected or not by the recall, but it does appear I have the aluminum casting. Okay, we're up here on the laptop and I've got the VIN plugged in. You guys can see right there. We're going to go ahead and click the search. I have not checked this, so you guys will see with me right now. Let's check. Well, it's thinking. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It says zero unrepaired recalls. Well, that's good to know. So I don't see anything on there. Now, I do want to check one other place, just to see if anything comes up there. Okay, the other site is Mopar.com. This is the Mopar site. We're going to check here. I've got my VIN in. Let's submit, see what happens. Let's see. It says there are no safety recalls for this VIN. That's cool. Current emissions recalls, none. Current campaigns. Let's see. There are no campaigns. So we don't have any issues or recalls that show up against my Jeep Gladiator. Well, there you have it. No recalls or TSBs or anything else for my Jeep Gladiator. I'm relieved, to be quite honest. Didn't really want to have to screw with taking it in. Had there been an open recall on it for that steering box issue, I would have taken it in just for peace of mind to get it done while it's still under warranty or still covered by Fiat Chrysler. So, good deal. Anyway, if you have the problem, or I would check and see if you are on the list, I would definitely take it in, get it taken care of. I mean, it's part of what you pay for when you buy that vehicle, right? Let me know. Leave a comment if you've got that issue and you're procrastinating as to whether you should take it in or not, particularly if you're not having any problems. I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, check out my other channel. It is Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma back there. Don't forget to click that notification button so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.